Rodgers is a fucking Jet. Let's go.
Biggie. This goes out to you. This goes out to you and you and you and you. This goes out to you. This goes
Let's make sure we play like the New York Jets.
This goes out to you and you. The door within the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door.
We play to win the game.
All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. On your mark, get set. When I spark, you wet. Look how dark you get when you're marked for death. Should I start your breath or should I let you die?
Yo, what's up, Jets fans? How's everybody doing tonight? Little surprise pop-up that just came together about 15 minutes ago. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm not. Catastrophe of a fucking week. Had knee surgery May 11th. Had the ACL repaired. Been doing good. Live in a basement. Therapy's going great. Ahead of schedule. Wednesday night, I decide that I'm going to have some pizza rolls. Go upstairs, make myself a dozen pizza rolls. Decide to come downstairs, hit the first step, foot slips out, bend back underneath my bad knee, which was in the brace, thank God. Catapult forward, don't touch another step, crash into the ground, arm tucked under me, bruised the ribs, may have torn or strained my pectoral muscle, broke my big left toe, twisted my left ankle, concussion, pulled my left groin. Absolute fucking disaster. Disaster. Snowball, what's up, buddy? Was in the hospital for 6 hours that night. None of the ribs broke, but if anyone's ever had bruised ribs, they always say that bruised ribs are more difficult to deal with than the broken ones. So it's trying times over here. Trying times for sure. I got a couple guests popping in a few minutes. I'm waiting for them. They had a couple of things going on their end. But what's going on, guys? How's everyone? You know, OTAs just ended. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of the position battles. We're going to discuss you're a mess. You're not kidding, man. I think JETS, mess, took my name. That should be me, bro. That should absolutely be me. You have no idea. Like, laying in bed, which I've been doing to elevate my leg, has been the best thing for me. And I can't do that because laying flat makes the pain here worse. And when I even just this right here, rotating, it feels like something's stretching apart. So, yeah, I'm a mess. But I'm laughing at it. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. 13 weeks sober today. I just hit 90 days yesterday. 3 months tomorrow. So as much as being thrown at me and as much as life is testing me, I'm doing it with a clear head, man, and getting through a lot of shit, getting through a lot of things. And that's all that matters. I can deal with broken bones. I can deal with the ligaments and the tendons and the body aches. But yeah, brother, thank you. Appreciate it, man. It's been easy. Like, I hate to say that because I know some people struggle, and I'm not like shitting on them with it, but it's been very easy for me. Like, I'm a stubborn bastard, and I'll never forget what, like, the first meeting I went to. I told everybody in the room, I was like, listen, I don't want to sound cocky or arrogant, but I view alcohol as the New England Patriots. I hate them. I hate their fans. I hate everything that comes with them. No benefit has ever happened from them being a part of anyone's life. One guy in the meeting goes, bro, because he's a Patriot fan. I go, shut up. You know who you are, and you know how people feel about you. So that's how I view alcohol now. I I don't have much interest in it, man. I really don't. It's not good. So all my years of drinking, falling down, I never got hurt. Used to stair dive when we were like in our teens, like purposely run and dive downstairs for fun. Never get hurt. And now I get sober, and that's when I fall down the stairs and fuck my body up. So it's been I'm just gonna mess with some of the stuff here. JR, the producer, gave me control, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. All right, there we go. I want triple cam, so I got 2 guests coming in. All right, forgive me. Usually I got JR, the producer, now in the background doing all this stuff. So I'm just playing with some things. All right, cool. How are you guys doing? How's everyone in the chat doing? Yeah, so that's my luck. I said to my friend the other day on the phone, I was like, you know what sucks? I'm like, now that I get sober and now that I'm clean, I'm like, watch me. Like, now I'm going to go. So it's, listen, you got to have a sense of humor. If you're going to live a life like I live and you're going to have tragedy after tragedy thrown at you, man, you got to be able to laugh at it. You got to be able to smile. You got to be able to push on, right? You got to be able to overcome adversity and all the tests and trials and tribulations that life's going to throw at you. Because when you don't, that's when you crack, right? That's when things fall apart. That's when, bad decisions come into play. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, but getting back to the Jets, I got to check. I got the Yankee hat on. I'm wearing the Biggie shirt for New York today because we're playing the Red Sox. I got to check that score. 1-0 Boston. All right. 4th inning. Top of the 5th. Let's see how they score. Single. I had a free bet, so I put a little parlay together with Giancarlo Stanton hit the first home run of the game. So OTAs just ended. I don't want to get too much into the Jet stuff. I'm waiting for the other 2 guys to pop in, so I'm just kind of. Oh, give me 1 second. This is the producer calling right now. Hey, I started the show because I had. Yeah, JR, the producer, called. Had to tell him that, like, yo, I'm in your account. I'm logged in, and we're running the show. So that's why I have all the background and then the music video for the entrance. Hey, Tom. Hey, Tom. How's it going, pal? So, yeah, we finished the OTAs. I'm okay with them skipping the next one because we get the extra week of training camp. I'd rather have that full week of training camp where everyone's there and it's all systems go and it's at full speed and they can acclimate to hitting instead of just like the shorts and T-shirts practices. I would rather take the extra week. And for those that don't know, we get the extra week of training camp because we have the Hall of Fame game with a year where you're adding a new offensive coordinator and you're adding a new quarterback. I'm ecstatic that we get that extra week of training camp. We don't expect Rodgers to play much in the preseason games, so I'll gladly take that extra week of practice. What do you guys think about that? There was some talk. I'm just going to go over some of the topics, and I'll save them for when the guests get on. There was some discussion about the offensive line and who would play where, and I was trying, man. I was trying. Which one is for me? Do you know the label on it? I'm trying to figure out. I'm in there now. I'm messing around. I was playing around with a little bit, and then I got to talking. All right, I'll take that. Yeah, I saw the other one had the Wednesdays on it, but I'll go with this for now. And then when other people pop in the show, I can change it around a little bit. So I miss you, man. I hope you're having a very good round of golf. That's JR, the producer. I called him up at like 7:20. I was like, hey, short notice. What are you doing? He's like, I'm golfing. I'm like, oh, that's much better. That's much better. Enjoy, pal. Hope you have a good round. Yeah, when you look at the offensive line, I'm a big proponent, and I did this as a coach too. So even on a youth level, find a way to get the best 5 out there. Find a way, even if you got to play a guy slightly out of position, but it makes the group better, do it. I did that with my D line plenty times. I put the more athletic guy inside instead of the I ran defense. Instead of putting, your typical stout D tackles in there, I put a guy who might be one of my better DNs, my third DN, but my number 1 tackle, just to get him on the field, to have that speed, that agility, a guy who can burst through. Because a lot of youth offensive lines, they put their big, slow guys at guard, and they're more athletic guys at tackle and tight end. So I would put the speedy guys, and we would be shooting the A and the B gap nonstop and constantly blowing up plays in the backfield. But relating that to the Jets, I am 100% in favor of just putting the best 5. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, Tom, you're saying it just as your comment popped up just as I was about to say it. I agree that, and even I think Tomlinson, if he does not play well, how do I word it? If he begins to suck, I have no problem with taking him out and putting McGovern in to send a message. None. Our quarterback is entirely too important to just play somebody because of the paycheck that they're getting. So I agree with you. I think Tittman takes the center. I've said before the draft, doing the shows with, Jeremy and Adam and everyone, that when you draft a center from the Big Ten, you're getting a second, third-year veteran in the NFL because those guys stayed 3-4 years. They go up against NFL linemen. They see defensive schemes that are NFL schemes. And when we got Tittman, I was a huge fan. I was very excited about that. I see you. I don't see your camera yet. There you go. You popped in. Perfect timing. I'm going to bring in a guy who has long flowing hair like Tittman. He may possibly grow the mullet. I'm gonna talk him into growing the mullet. We got to get that. You know him. He's the president of the Virginia Jets Fans Club. He is Mr. Trivia on Green Bean Show, and he's one of my best friends. Let's bring in Adam, Mr. Y2K. What's up, pal?
Hey, Nick. Good to see you, man. When you mentioned the idea of the mullet, I guess that ruled Jeremy out right away, didn't it?
Yeah. If you had to know that it wasn't. What's up, Mike? How you doing, pal?
Hey, Mike.
Yeah. So I was just kind of recapping. I recapped for Snowball and Tom and JR, my catastrophe of a week that I had. And I was trying to kill some time before, you and our other guest got here. And now I'm just kind of getting into camp and talking about the offensive line. I didn't go too far in, but now that you're here and we can have the discussion. Oh, we got let's take Mike's question for it. Mike's a good dude. Would you take a chance on a futures bet for Jets winning the conference? I am thinking about it. Yes.
So when he says, just to clarify, when he says a futures bet, what is he referring to?
It's one of the tabs in like FanDuel or like it's not a game bet. It's futures bet, MVP of the league. Like it's not one that pays off like betting on the NBA Finals tonight pays off tonight. It's a future bet. The World Series champion, Super Bowl champion, conference champion, season awards. Those are all futures bets. They're under that category on the gambling sites.
All right, makes sense.
I would.
Boy, I know what kind of odds I'm getting. I would throw something. I'm going to tell you right now. I can't say me a lot. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You say what you're saying.
I can't say I put a whole lot down, but then again, I'm not too much of a gambler anyway. I got different reasons why I tend to tread a little bit cautiously with that sort of stuff. But I don't know. If the Jets were in the NFC, I'd feel a lot more confident. But I still think there's a whole lot of competition. And, this team's going to have to find its way. I think my biggest hope is that even though I don't necessarily see a great start to the season, especially with the competition we have the first 6 weeks, I could see this team getting hot at the right time. And sometimes it's not always about who you play. It's about when you play them. And hopefully we get a reverse of what we saw last year, where we thought the beginning of the season was going to be more difficult than later in the season when we were facing Detroit, Jacksonville, Seattle, and teams like that. It turned out to be the exact opposite. So, hey, if it's the reverse and the Jets for a change are actually peaking, as opposed to say, well, May or June, because those tend to be the best Jets months of the year, is like April, May, June. That's about when Jets fans are most excited. Then, hey, sign me up to that. Snowball, I agree with you. I was surprised. It was like, okay, we're going to put out Coach Saleh, Aaron Rodgers, and just bringing up the rear is Zach Wilson. I thought the timing of that was weird. Why would you have Zach Wilson go after Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. Something about that seemed a little bit
Figuring the media would
strange.
clear out after he speaks, right?
That is
everybody
that's
laughed. They got their sound bites. I'm going to tell you this real quick, Mike. It's plus 1,000 odds for the Jets to win the AFC, but pairing that with the Niners to win the NFC, which I think $10 bet wins you $540 if it's a Jet Niner Super Bowl. If it's a Jet Eagles Super Bowl, because the Eagles have the highest odds in the NFC, it's $10 to win $463. So if you put 100 down and it's Jets Eagles Super Bowl, it's $4,000. It's $4,600. So I like it. If this team is healthy, I really think we can do it. I really do, because all right, we'll just discuss this then for now. I believe what we saw last year against Buffalo, with beating them with Zach Wilson, with no Vera Tucker, with no Breece Hall, and even when the garbage man Mike White was quarterback, the defense still held Buffalo. We are built to beat the passing teams. Our defense is built to shut down the elite passing teams. Now, I didn't even talk about our offense. We beat the Bills last year. We lost 20-9, 22-9, was it? The second one in Buffalo when Mike White got crushed.
I've so moved on from like game scores from last year. I remember like certain moments, but
it was
like,
close.
I want to turn the page at this point. I want to be turning the page. I want to move forward. But I get your point. Gitmo, that sounds a little dirty. Well, hey, just about everything Gitmo says sounds a little dirty. So hey, that's par for the course.
I've been in my talks to see them on the field. Yeah, but for some of these bets, the best odds, Gitmo, for gambling are before the game start. We go out, we blow out the Bills 40-6 on opening night. The odds are going to drop. Like, the odds are going to come down drastically if we go out and look like an elite team. We go out, we beat the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Bills in the first month. In the first 5 games, whatever it is, then the odds are going to drop. We'll go to being one of the favorites.
Yeah, I mean, just to go over those first 6 weeks before we have the bye, and then we come off the bye, we're facing the Giants. We've got home against Buffalo, at Dallas, New England, Kansas City, at Denver, and home against the Eagles. I mean, I got to be honest with you. If they went 3-3, I'd almost have to take that. If they came out at 3-3 with a clean bill of health, I would roll with that going forward. Just as long as 2 of those wins were the Patriots and the Bills. That's the one caveat with that.
5-1.
Okay.
5-1.
I cannot get my expectations that high. My hopes, yes. My expectations can't
wins. And I keep saying it. That defense is going to be clicking right away. For most of the guys, it's the 3rd year. There's a couple new pieces here and there. Lawson coming back after the Achilles. Last year was a work in progress. You got Huff, contract year again. Good. Go be in a contract year. You got JJ coming into year 2. You got the beast Michael Clemens coming into year 2. You got Quinnen wants to show the world that his contract is going to be worth it. You got McDonald coming in as the rookie on the outside. You got the brains of the operation, CJ Mosley. You got Sauce. You got Reed. You got Carter.
We got Quincy back for a little bit.
Quincy. I still believe we end up with Quan. I really do. I think that when Quan looks at this team, he's going to want to be here. I think he's just waiting. I think the Jets are being smart and waiting, and they're going to see. we'll get to the off.
Hey, we're clearing all this cap space. We got the third most cap space in the league right now.
24.8.
Yeah, right around 25 $million. That's exactly
What's up,
right.
buddy? I mentioned you earlier, mess. I was telling everyone how I fell down the stairs this week and got pretty fucked up. And Snowball's like, you're a mess. I was like, I said, I know. I think Jets mess took my name from me. I should have that name.
He should at least loan it to you for a couple weeks. I think that's the least he could do. Yeah,
Snowball. Yeah. Let me take this real quick. I'll throw it to you.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's not a backup. Matched up pretty damn well against him. We're built to beat an Allen, a Burrow, a Mahomes, a Herbert. We're built to beat Prescott, Hurts. We're built on defense. Now our offense is going to be better than average. We're not going to have a 24th ranked offense. We're going to have an elite complementary offense. We might not have the leading rushing team. We might not have the leading passing team. But I really firmly believe we're going to be up there in the top 7 for yardage. And with this defense, that's going to matter. You get a lead, and this defense doesn't have to worry about the run. You get up 20-6, and now they can go, and they can attack, and they can pull out the exotic blitzes, and they can do all the things that they want to do, which they haven't been able to do in tight games or when they had to protect the offense and not take chances. You're going to see some crazy shit from this defense this year. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be playing aggressive. We're going to be playing that all gas, no break mentality because we're going to be able to jam it down your throat on offense, and we're going to be able to beat the shit out of you on defense. What do you think?
There are, to me, one of the things with the Jets is they're not a blitzing team. They have never really been a blitzing team under Robert Saleh. The defense is predicated on generating pressure with your front four. That's what it's all about. I don't see this team suddenly blitzing, and certainly not to Rex levels, but even like 25% of the time, I don't see that happening. The Jets are not, see the thing with Rex, I always loved Rex, but his defense was scheme-based as opposed to talent-based. The Jets did not have the best defensive players in the league. I mean, you had Darrelle Revis, you had Chris Jenkins for a little bit, and you had, very solid players in the likes of Sean Ellis and Calvin Pace and guys of that nature. But outside of Revis, you didn't necessarily have elite talent. I mean, was Bart Scott an elite linebacker? No, he was a very good linebacker, but he was more of, a cheerleader, more of a poster boy, a leader is what he was. This defense, and here's the other thing. If we go back to the last 10 years, if you look at the Jets' top draft picks on defense, what do we constantly see? Linebacker, Darren Lee. Safety, Jamal Adams. Safety, Marcus May. So often we were putting our assets at positions that didn't matter as much, the less important positions. We are now putting our assets in premium positions. So while we were a defense-based team for a long time. Jets have been defense-based for many, many years. But this is the first time I can remember in a while where the defense is based off, not just cornerbacks, but it's really based off the pass rush. And I cannot remember the last time that happened. And that excites me. And you know what? Even if somebody does get hurt, even if that does happen, this is still we know when the 53-man roster comes out, there are going to be 10 defensive linemen taken. That's not a prediction. That's just a fact of life. 20% of this roster will be defensive linemen. And now that Clemens has that versatility up the middle, let's see how that works out. It's going to be very interesting, but I like that he's put not just weight on, but good weight on where because one thing that the Jets didn't do in the draft that I think shocked us, if there was one thing about the draft that surprised us, is they didn't address defensive tackle. And I couldn't understand that. How long have I been talking about wanting a defensive tackle? Since Christmas, pretty much. But the fact that if they can move Clemens inside there, because they're not going to do it with JFM all that much. If Clemens can just do it like occasionally, then that can make a huge difference. So
I agree. And when I look at Clemens, one name comes to mind: Justin Tuck. Do you remember how freakishly strong Justin Tuck was?
He was.
He had the step to play outside. He wasn't a speed rusher. He was like, and I say this with great respect. It's not a dig. He was like a poor man's Reggie White. Like, yes,
Nothing
I
wrong
saw
with being a
mention
poor
from
man's
Justin
Reggie
Tuck.
White. There's nothing wrong with being a broke man's Reggie White. Okay,
That's what I'm saying. Like, he can rush through you. He can throw you around. He could power rush you and bull rush you from D tackle. I have a lot of respect for Justin Tuck as a player. And if Michael Clemens can become 60% of what Justin Tuck was, that's a really good player in the NFL. All right. I'm not expecting him to be Pro Bowls. I'm not expecting him to be elite. If he does, great. But when I look at Justin Tuck, if Clemens could be 50, 60% of what Justin Tuck's career was and his impact on the pass rush, allowing Strahan and JPP and other guys on the outside to do what they did, that's the best thing for us.
I think Clemens is not as much of a pass rusher, especially with the extra weight. I see him. Remember, he was playing a lot of special teams. He was able to break through the lines and do that. I feel as though his ability to play against the run is going to be even more valuable than his ability to rush the passer.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
his motor and his effort. I mean, I think it was the Seattle game where he was the one chasing somebody 40 yards downfield, if I remember correctly. He had a play where he went and he was the one. Oh, yeah, snowball. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bob, I think the only two
Tuck had an amazing face mask.
Yeah, the only two players the Jets haven't signed are McDonald and Tittman. They've signed everybody else. So they signed the day 3 guys, but not Tittman and McDonald. So that's coming.
And I just saw kid from Auburn, the pass rusher, Hall, 2nd round pick, Seattle. Hall.
Oh, Derek Hall?
Yeah. His contract was the first 2nd round pick in NFL history to get 65% of the money up front, 65% of the signing bonus up front. If you look at CBS Sports on Instagram, I think that's where I saw it. It broke down his contract with the facts. And for a 2nd rounder, he was the first guy to have some first things ever happen to him with that deal. I'm pretty sure it was CBS Sports because they're
let's see, his base salary in 24, 25, 26 totals $5.4 million over 3 years.
okay.
So yeah, unprecedented contract. So this is
here
for
it is. I got it.
Pick. Yeah, go ahead.
Derek Hall,
wow.
Seahawks 2nd round pick, lands groundbreaking contract. Here's why. He landed 2 things in his contract that no 2nd round pick has ever been given. Signing bonus. Hall is being paid 85% of the 85%. Signing bonus. Most money ever given to a 2nd rounder before camp, $3.08 million. Number 3, guaranteed 4th year. Hall will be getting a 4th year guarantee of $100,000. That is the most that any 2nd round pick has ever gotten in a guarantee for the final year of their deal. So,
yeah. So last year there were. This is interesting. Last year there were 3 2nd rounders in the NFL who had a 4th year guarantee. They were Logan Hall from Tampa, Christian Watson, and Roger McCreary. So only three of them had. So it has happened. But yeah, the difference is, I mean, the amount and that the signing bonus to me is what stands out the most. 85% is going to be paid before training camp of his signing bonus. That's substantial.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, good for him. That I don't know why.
Because they can.
I don't know.
Hey,
I don't get it.
I'm not going to doubt Seattle's ability to know how to run a draft.
Correct.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'll agree. You can't knock them.
Nope.
They might see something there where they're like, you know what? We're going to give you this because we got big plans for you. But now if you're, say, Joe Tittman, drafted right around the same area, you're expected to be the starter and an anchor and have immediate impact and protect Aaron Rodgers. I'm looking at that contract and I'm like, this is our starting point.
Yeah, and looking at these reports, like when you read the beat writers doing their reports at OTAs, it felt like just about everything was all about the passing game. I felt like there was so little about the offensive line, the defensive line. Everything was
there's no contact.
Yeah, I mean everything was like Rodgers to Wilson and Zach to. I mean, we heard more about Jerome Cap than we did Carl Lawson.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's a passing camp. There's no contact. So it's basically a passing camp with conditioning for the fatties, right? Like everything you saw about the D-line was the circle drill, McDonald and Huff chasing one another.
Oh, right.
You couldn't have any contact. That's why the Patriots lost their practice for cheating, because they had some contact going on. And that is a huge no-no by the NFL. The OTAs are basically 7-on-7 camps. You can do 11-on-11, but it's just there's no full pass rush. There's no full blocking. You're not pulling guys and then taking out the outside linebacker on a toss sweep. So it's literally, let's get our formations right. Let's get our terminology down. Let's get the ball out on time. And then in camp, that's when you'll see it go to another level.
You know, you got to wonder with New England, the fact that they got caught. You think somebody had cameras in place?
Oh, the NFL, I believe, sends people.
They must have. I mean,
The
somebody
NFL
had
have
to have been
referees there.
How else would it get out, right?
Yeah. NFL has officials there. They have league officials who show up. So it's not like Mangini was in the woods with a camera. Snowball asked, do you think the NFL should adjust player contracts in a way to even the playing field between teams?
It's not for the NFL.
States like Florida.
That's outside the NFL. Every state is its own deal.
Yeah.
You can't change it. The state's got to change that. Then the leagues can adjust. Right? I mean, this happens not just in the NFL, but this happens in every sport. You know.
Yeah.
And if you root for a team from New York or New Jersey, like most of us, if not all of us, do in just about every sport. I mean, that's part of the problem. Especially when you have a salary cap to factor in. So,
very valid point. Yeah. So Adam covered it perfectly. I think it's difficult to do that. Now, let's be realistic. There are times where teams from Florida and Texas get those advantages, and that's part of the negotiating. You're signing a 80, 100, 200, 300 in baseball, $1 million deal. Now you're talking about millions extra that you're taking home. So I'm sure it factors in when you get these massive contracts. But it's part of the game, right? It's part of your agent maybe asking for a little bit more from those states, maybe not mentioning that's why, but part of the negotiating tactics is where we're playing and knowing the tax rate. So let's talk about Zach Wilson.
Okay. And we may not for a while, so why not?
Doing everything the right way.
Yep.
Doing everything you want. And I'm going to say this tongue in cheek, but for, everyone here watching me knows how I am. He's saying and doing everything the right way as a rookie quarterback behind a proven veteran. And I am willing to wipe the first 2 years clean with Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson is an NFL rookie to me right now because he never had the leadership. He never had the mentorship. He never had that guy to teach him. You're watching Aaron Rodgers when he's not throwing reps, going out and showing Garrett Wilson what he wants on the fade. Don't put your hands up to the last second. Have the quick head and the quick hands to snatch the ball out of the air. It gives the defender less time to put his hand up. Like if you're running like this and your hands are up and you're backpedaling, defender's going to get his hand up, right? Now they want to snatch it real quick out of midair. So the teaching that Rodgers is doing, Zach, just be a sponge. Learn from your mistakes. You have a free pass. You are able to sit behind and learn from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, a top 3 talent of all time, in my opinion, a top 3 brain of all time. If you can take from him and you can learn from him, why can't you go on to be a decent NFL quarterback? He's saying the right things in the media today, and I think the Jets kind of put him out there to show, like, hey, we know you're not going to talk to him a lot, but before we take this little break, we want you to hear this guy talk. Like he's figuring it out. He hung out with Rodgers in the offseason. Before Rodgers became a Jet, he went out to California and spent some time with him. So they have a good relationship, right? You're not bringing a guy out to your house if you don't like him, right? If you don't want well for him. And that was even before the deal went through. So I'm proud of Zach. I felt bad for him that he got thrown into the fire. There was the questions coming out of the out of college, the 2020 year. He didn't play against any top players on defense when his senior year at BYU. So not every guy comes out like Trevor Lawrence, who's playing in national championships his freshman, sophomore, and junior year in college. You had a cakewalk schedule. You didn't play any big teams. You got thrown into the fire in the NFL. You didn't have a good offensive coordinator your first year. You didn't have a good veteran. Flacco was more like hands off, like I'm just here if somebody gets hurt. He wasn't there to be the experienced voice in the room and stopping meetings and quizzing the players about what do you see here, what are you going to do. So Zach has the greatest opportunity. If Zach is going to succeed, this is how you draw it up for Zach to succeed. You put him on a team that's going to be winning. You put him behind the best quarterback in the league, in my opinion, in terms of experience, career, and talent, and you let him learn.
And if you look at the style of quarterbacks, it makes sense. I mean, I don't think there's another quarterback that you would want to bring in to show Wilson the rope more so than Aaron Rodgers. You know, if you look at the solid quarterback, the ability to throw the football, I mean, I wouldn't have wanted, like, say, Cam Newton or somebody like that kind of a player, Justin Fields. I mean, can you imagine those types of quarterbacks? Now, this made sense for that reason. Now, it wasn't the main reason the Jets acquired Aaron Rodgers. This is like a side benefit of it. Now, one thing I think Zach had made a little reference to the previous coaching staffs, talking about now that he has a veteran coaching staff and, you know, a system that has worked in the past, he called it refreshing. That may have been a little bit of a subtle dig at the previous regime, and you could certainly take it that way. I mean,
wouldn't be the first player to do it.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the first, but at least this one controlled his temper while he did it, and didn't get kicked out of practice while it happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think is
breaking news: the Jets trade Zach Wilson to the Rams.
Oh. For Aaron Donald, what do we get? What do we got? Cooper Kupp? What are we talking about?
Zach Wilson reunited with Mike LaFleur.
hey, can we trade Zach Wilson for SoFi Stadium? Can we have that?
That's a beauty.
I'll take that trade. I don't want any player. I just want the stadium.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, you know, Zach said the right things, and you know, he's gotten better. I mean, if you go back to where he when he answered no to do you feel you let down the defense and things like that, you know, he's figured some things out over time. And you gotta think the other thing, he has to feel like the weight of the world is off his shoulders right now, where he doesn't feel like he has to carry the team on his back, because even though Coach Salas said when the Jets drafted Wilson, you're not going to lift us. We're not going to lift. We're going to lift you up. You're not going to lift us up. Well, that was too heavy of a weight to lift.
Both.
that was like trying to lift the entire defensive line in one shot. It didn't work. But I think Zach still took a whole lot of it on himself, and now he doesn't have to do that. You know, the team is being built around him, and he knows that he will have an opportunity one day again in this league, whether with the Jets or with somebody else. We don't know what that's going to look like, but I do have a good feeling that the Zach Wilson who's next time steps on an NFL field will be far, far better than the one we saw close out the season just a couple of months ago.
Yeah. Let's discuss the O-line. What's your thoughts on Salah's comments?
Wow.
In terms of it's going to be tough to unseat Dwayne Brown. I like it.
Anything to light a little bit more of a fire under Mekhi Becton's ass, I'm for it. I am all for it. And to me, that is the biggest reason why I was happy that Keith Carter got hired to be the run game coach and the offensive line coach, because I think a lot of that was for Becton. I still don't believe that 12 months from now, Mekhi Becton is a New York Jet. I don't. No matter if he has a really good season or a really bad season, I think he's going to be gone. And I think Carter Warren, his development is going to be, I think the best realistic scenario for the Jets is that next year, the two starting tackles, this might shock people.
I got the same two names.
Carter Warren and Max Mitchell.
Max Mitchell. Yep.
That's it.
You're going to need guys, mid-round picks to succeed.
Yep.
I am 100% on that. You let Brown and Becton walk, you're freeing up over $20 million. You're bringing in guys who make $600,000, maybe less. I'm fine with it.
Yep, it's fine.
I hope they do.
Yep. Yeah, Billy Turner might be
F up, Anthony. Jet the
Hey,
F
Anthony.
Up.
What's up, Anthony?
Way to come in. I like that. Like Biggie. kick in the door, wave into 4-4. Anthony, no nonsense, right from the get-go.
But we were talking about the O-line last night.
You
Yeah.
got to let the leg breathe for everybody. The big, gigantic leg brace that I have on.
Oh, is that what that is?
I got to let the leg breathe a little bit.
All right.
Ah.
But last night, Jeremy and I were talking about the depth on this offensive line. Think about it. At tackle right now, you've got Brown, Becton, Warren, Mitchell, Turner, and the scrub that we picked up from New England. I don't expect anything from him.
Ajibuji.
We didn't keep Cedric Obuye, so we got another tackle as a hard name is what we did.
You didn't have to change many letters on the locker. Just give him the same locker.
Por supuesto, of course. And then a guard you've got.
What was that?
Por supuesto, of course. So I don't know why I busted out the Spanish right now. Oh, I know why, because Tristan Colon is a guard, and I got the Spanish thing going on. So Tristan Colon, Wes Schweitzer, and of course the starters and Tomlinson and AVT. And then at center, look at the 1-2.
And I'm going to throw McGovern in there. I'm going to throw McGovern in there as a swing, right?
And Tittman and McGovern. This is a 10 deep offensive line, maybe 11 deep. That's crazy. I mean, we've got guys on the second unit that could be legit starters for other teams in this league.
Yeah. You may look at
that's one of the things I'm most excited about. Yeah.
You may look at Warren this year as a guy who doesn't dress for a bunch of games, but then moves into a starting role next year. And like that would be the ideal development, right?
What we want for Carter Warren is what we wanted for Max Mitchell last year before players started going down. Yeah. That's the easiest way I could say that.
Yeah. You know, with the money that Rodgers is going to get next year.
Yeah, he will.
It's going to be you're going to have to find some of these mid-round guys who come in and contribute greatly, you know, and if we can get those two tackles off the books and those two cheap tackles into starting positions, that's huge. That'll be really huge for us because the running back room is cheap, right? The running back room is our cheapest room right now. You know, who knows if
super cheap.
I'll save the running backs because we'll talk that next. Wide receivers getting a little expensive. Wilson's only on year 2 of his deal. Lazard's got a little bit. Corey Davis comes off next year, so there's another, you know, $13 million. So there's $34 million between Becton, Davis, and Brown coming off on the offensive books.
I still wonder if the Jets might rework Corey Davis's contract. Don't know, but there's still that possibility. I don't know if they will. I feel like they've reworked everybody they can rework.
He's a conundrum to me.
He is the ultimate conundrum for Jets in like every single way. It's so divided. We are very divided on Corey Davis. The fan base is. It's fascinating.
You know who he is for me?
Are you talking about like another Jet or just a player in general in the league?
A different league, different sport.
Oh, different sport. Okay.
He is Brett Gardner. I could not figure out why the Yankees kept Brett Gardner for so many years. And I would say he must have pictures of Aaron Boone with children. It's the only reason he's still on this team and still in the lineup.
All right.
Corey Davis, to me, is not worth the money. He's inconsistent with his hands. He's inconsistent with being on the field. It's not somebody you want to put $13 million into. So I know he does the right thing, says the right thing. He's great behind the scenes. We hear all that. But $13 million, dude, I want a dozen touchdowns with $13 million.
Understood.
I want 70+ catches. You know, I want 1,000 yards. You've never had 1,000 yards in your career, but you're getting paid like a top 25 wide receiver.
Well, he had like 990 one year. So, yeah, let's be fair. He was like a few yards away one year.
If I weigh 301, bro, I'm not in the 200-pound club.
Well, weight's a little bit different, but I get your point. I will say that it is interesting. Corey's got the 3rd highest cap hit on the team this year, only behind CJ and Dwayne Brown. No, Dwayne Brown. Yeah. Laken Tomlinson's cap hit this year is 10.8. Corey Davis is 11.
They redid his. That's why. It was supposed to be 17. They redid it.
We have 4 players with cap hits of 10 million or higher. That's it. That's amazing to me.
CJ Brown.
Yep.
Tomlinson at 10.
Right.
And Becton?
No, Corey.
Okay.
Corey's got 11. Becton? What's Becton? 5'8".
Oh, I forget the way they do it now with the
it's amazing.
You get paid for the year and what your cap hit is are not the same.
It's so backwards.
Salary cap is a myth.
It's a complete myth, and now we're learning it. I mean, if you go through 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's Mosley, Brown, Davis, Tomlinson. There's 2 Jets making 9.5 on the cap for the cap hit. Can you name them?
Quinnen,
Right?
Lawson.
Lawson is only $3 million.
Oh, he came down. That's why.
Way down.
I
better check the chat. Maybe
Whitehead. Whitehead's at 9. Or did he?
Not,
no, we did his and came down.
Not Jordan. No, Jordan's down to 4.9.
He was up there. What side of the ball?
Offense.
Lazard.
Chad, come on. Chad, I know you got this.
Lazard?
Lazard is 3.2.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Zach.
Yes. Zach. Isn't that amazing? Zach and Quinnen's cap hits are like $80,000 apart this year.
Top 5 picks.
It's unbelievable.
Top 3.
It is unbelievable. Yeah.
You're not going to like this. Veteran minimum. He hasn't done enough for me to be paid as a productive wide receiver.
He's not going to agree to a contract for that little.
I'm not saying he would.
He
but
would.
What should he be paid? Not will he be paid is the question. I'm paying him like I'm paying Randall Cobb.
If Randall Cobb is getting
more than Corey Davis.
Cobb's getting 2.8. Well, what are they going to do going forward? And by the way, who is throwing the ball to Corey Davis and who is throwing the ball to Randall Cobb? Bit of a difference in my mind. True. The biggest issue I would say, and I've been a Davis defender, is the injury history. I really felt he reduced the drop substantially, and he made some big plays in big spots.
Great in the Pittsburgh game. You look at his season last year, that Pittsburgh drive, he makes that one catch behind him. Play of the year for him.
Yep.
And that's it. Like, name me another Corey Davis play that wasn't a drop.
The touchdown against Cleveland, but when he was completely wide open. But that was a busted play on Cleveland's behalf.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't a memorable season for him.
He wasn't outrunning a guy. He didn't break a tackle. It was just a complete breakdown where it was just a go and catch.
But remember, he could block. You know they like their receivers, and I'm playing devil's advocate.
Lyman who can block though for $13 million. Adam.
They love their receivers who have an ability to block.
Lyman who can block.
We
for
know that's
$13
part
million.
of it.
We can put Becton out there and run a little tight end out to the corner with his size.
I just want to see Corey get a chance with a big time quarterback, and let's see what happens. I see a lot of people.
Because if you drop a big pass, with Rodgers, you are going to hear it, and
you're going to hear it. And there'll be other guys who can step right in the spot, and God bless them if they could do it. But to me,
hey Simon, what's up, pal?
Oh my goodness, hey, good to see. I didn't. Don't have Facebook. So I figured, wow, Simon actually took 5 minutes off from Facebook to jump on another outlet. That's amazing. I didn't know he ever did that.
He's a good dude.
That's cool. I feel like I'm always like guesting on his Facebook page, and now he's guesting on our show. This is awesome. You know what I'm talking about. But one of the most overdone things to me is when people talk about a number 2 wide receiver.
Let's go eat a damn snack. Let's go to eat a damn snack.
You good?
I'm going through the things that I asked JR to put in because I was looking for the video with Simon in it. I'm not sure which one it is though. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. You're so good.
Playing with the gadgets. Like
I'll be halfway through a point, and you're going to try to cut me off.
I'm the kid that's home for the first time alone, and I'm checking what's in mom and dad's dresser drawer.
Oh boy, that explains a few things. So, but I get a little bit bored when people talk about in baseball a number 2 versus number 3 starting pitcher. It's the same thing with a wide receiver to me in football. Yeah. What really is a number 2 wide receiver? I mean, what are we judging it on? Is it yards? Is it targets? Is it receptions? Is it touchdowns? Is it one of those things? It's like, I hate to use the analogy, but porn. You don't know what it is, but you know it when you see it, which is what I think what Congress said one time. I know I just opened the door right up for Nick. It was probably the green.
The Larry Flint? Is that the trial of Larry Flint?
I didn't see it. I don't know. I never saw
some movie with Woody Harrelson when he played Larry Flint.
Dude, are you really shocked that I haven't seen that?
No,
I didn't think so.
But I'm pretty sure that's what it comes from. Is the trial with him?
Okay, that would make sense. But yeah, it's like can Alan Lazard overtake Corey Davis for number 2? It's like. As long as you have like reliable starters, I mean,
it's a good comment.
Yeah, 20 top 10 wide receivers in the NFL, according to fantasy at least. So,
that's the thing, right? Like,
yeah.
and not to, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to chime in right there at the perfect point. What's up, Rusty? Everybody talks fantasy football.
$2.
He's my number one wide receiver. Okay, he's a number two. All you need with wide receivers are people that complement one another. Why do you think the Patriots won all the time?
And like come
They
through
didn't have a number one wide
Welker.
receiver. They had a committee that worked. The part of the committee is the tight ends.
And they had
You got an
Gronkowski.
elite tight end. You got Travis Kelce now in Chiefs. You don't need an elite wide receiver. You just put speedy guys around that to create space for Kelce to work in. Oh, fuck.
You all right?
Oh, man. Coughing, breathing, twisting, turning hurts. Oh, that hurt. I don't know how much more time I have left in me sitting up. I will try my best to
You do, you do what you have to do. You do what you have to do, no matter what.
So
we understand.
People get caught up with the fantasy aspect of it, of who's a number one and who's a number two. Just put guys who look at Keyshawn and Corbett. These guys do not look alike. They do not act alike. They do not play alike. They do not talk alike. They do not walk alike. They don't do anything similar. Yeah. But they're one of the best tandems we ever saw.
And then Cole's and Corbett. I mean, Cole stepped right in that spot too.
Yeah,
once Keyshawn left.
Yeah, they're similar, with their size and their mentality of linebackers playing the wide receiver position. You look at Decker and Brandon Marshall, both very good, elite wide receivers, but they don't do same things. They don't do similar things. You look at Garrett Wilson now, and you look at Lazard. They're not going to be doing the same thing. They're not going to be asked to do the same thing in this system. Davis and Lazard, I think, could be similar. Guys who maybe you put in the slot, like on a little mismatch, you do a little rollout with a 5-yard out against a linebacker. You sprint them out to the sideline.
I wanted Davis in the slot more. I really did last year.
See that?
I really did, because I felt Davis struggled the most against big physical corners like New England had, like Denver had, those types of things.
I'm showing his age here. Sauer over the middle, Mater on the sidelines. Yeah, Tom, that's before my time, buddy. But
next thing you know, Tom's going to break out an Al Duro reference. Just watch. Hey, Tom, what was it like watching Sonny Jurgensen play quarterback? Tell us.
I remember when Red Grange would get a sweep.
Don't let the helmets. It starts with a gun and ends with a whistle.
I don't even know who Sauer.
George Sauer. Yeah, he was the most targeted wide receiver we had in the Super Bowl. He was the most targeted wide receiver in the Super Bowl we had. And his dad was a general manager. Sauer retired after 6-7 years with the Jets. He just wanted out of football. But he was a very good compliment to Don Maynard, no doubt about it. He just didn't stay around very long.
I never hear about him. You always hear Maynard highlights.
You don't, yeah. Sauer's been a very overlooked. Yeah, he's passed away now, so it's not like you'd see him at the reunions. But yeah, Sauer was like an ordinary-looking kind of guy. Like, he had like the glasses and stuff like that. But yeah, his dad, I believe, was a Jets general manager at one time. Yeah, he was. Nice. So he gave us a good 6-7 years and got out.
Smart, especially the way you could kill people back then. And
one of the big reasons, and this is the thing with Weeb Eubank, people will give Weeb Eubank all the credit in the world for being a great coach, and he was, but he was also the team's general manager, and bro, he was cheap. That's why we lost guys like Verlin Biggs, one of our big defensive ends to Washington. I mean, I think he was the GM when John Riggins left too. So there was a lot of players. I mean, if you go back and watch the Jets America's Game on the NFL Network about the Super Bowl, and Maynard would talk about the negotiations for a contract, we would write it down on a piece of paper. What do you think about that? He's like, well, our equipment manager makes more than that. He's like, all right, let me write another number down here. Well, taxi cab drivers make more than that. All right, fine, I'll give you this number. But don't go telling anybody that I gave you that money. He says, Weeb, don't worry about it. I'm just as ashamed of it as you are.
Yeah.
Weeb was cheap. Yeah. No, we'd have been
screwed. Was very good clutch. Oh, absolutely. I know that, Gimmo. I wasn't alive for that.
I little pop. Yeah, he had the little tight pass. Yeah. Joe Namath actually said that he really liked the throwing motion of Sonny Jurgensen. He really admired that. He really admired Jurgensen. everyone talks, they called him Joey U because, he loved Unitas, but he was a big admirer of Sonny Jurgensen too.
Nice. I love shit like that. I love those old stories with, talking to fans who were alive for previous generations, like that. That's what I want to be, as I get older, is telling like my son and younger people about players that I saw,
That's right.
Like
Pass
even
those
now
stories
talking about Montana is like almost like, hey buddy, you were alive for Joe Montana. Yeah. Yes.
Can you believe there's like a whole generation who doesn't know the brilliance of Pat Summerall and John Madden together? That will never have anything like that again. And people just think the video game.
The Madden documentary, so good. So good.
He's one of those
really showed their brilliance and their beauty. I think the clips that they chose were outstanding, and kudos to the people that put that together. That was a very, very good.
Yeah, there aren't too many
The
celebrities.
Jordan documentary, The Undertaker, Michael Jordan, The Last Dance, Undertaker, The Last Ride, and the John Madden documentary. Ric Flair is fourth for me. Those are my favorite.
Which Ric Flair one? Because there's a couple.
The one that Peacock did, WWE did.
Okay.
Why? Which one do you like?
I haven't seen, I haven't really, I didn't watch it because I feel like I know just about everything there is to know about Ric Flair at this point between different things. So I just didn't watch it because from what I heard, it's like if you know Flair well enough, you're not going to find out anything you didn't already know. I'd say for top documentary, I'd have to go with the recent American Gladiators. No, I'm kidding. That was just weird with some of those guys. I mean, it felt pretty. I felt sleazy watching that.
Do they all look like Lex Luthor? Lex Luger.
God bless Lex Luger. Yeah.
Do they all look like Luger? Like all like.
Skinny? I grew up a huge Lex Luger fan.
All the gladiators look like you. They're sitting there with sleeveless shirts with nothing to show.
Sleeveless shirts, and it's like I lost my wife. I was spending too much time, and we were all screwing each other, and I couldn't. I had no balls left from all the steroids, and I mean, some of them moved on, and they moved on to different things. But I mean, like one of them got into like very lower level wrestling, and then you got the personal trainers, and then you have like Saber, the big African American guy, who became a preacher. Oh
wow!
But there were a lot of gladiators in that documentary who would not talk because they were afraid of like repercussions and things like that, which is shocking. But a lot did not talk. But going back to what you were going to say, I'm not a big like I want to meet this person, I want to meet that person. But I wish I could have had just like an hour to talk with John Madden. He just feels like he'd been the coolest guy ever to meet, man.
He would have done it.
Yeah.
If you ran into him in a diner in Virginia, he would have done it. He would have loved he loved doing that with regular people.
Completely.
Just sitting down, talking football. I learned a lot of that as our whole generation did. We grew up with the Madden on it. We grew up learning the game from parents, sitting with your dad, uncles, whatever, in between getting them beers. They would explain some things to you, but Madden broke it down so beautifully, everyone always said, why didn't he go back to coaching? And I was always one of the ones, like, I was so grateful that he didn't, I enjoyed John Gruden.
That's it. I was just thinking of him. He was in my mind.
I was shocked when he went back to coaching. I was shocked. I thought I learned a lot about the offense attacking and mindset by watching Gruden, and as a defensive coach, it intrigued me to learn more because I've always find myself listening to guys like Rex, the elite defensive coordinators. I always found myself taking time to listen to them speak rather than offensive minded guys. But Gruden, I thought, could have been a 30-year guy.
Mm-hmm. And it was a little bit weird for me because, my family is much more baseball and hockey and golf. That is like, if you go to, like, my mom's side has like no interest in sports whatsoever. My dad's side, they had Ranger season tickets for many, many years. Mostly it's like a mix when it comes to baseball and kind of mix when it comes to football. But like we would watch the games, but I never really learned the intricacies of it. To use a big word, I guess. Like it took me like watching John Madden to know what a stunt was. I had no idea what any of this meant. What 4-3 versus 3-4 meant, and all that. Like a single high safety. I didn't even know until a couple years ago, like what playing safety single high meant. I never heard these things because I didn't grow up playing the game.
Yeah.
So I needed these things. I needed guys like Madden and these people who really educate you and get into the specifics to really explain, okay, why does this happen? Why is it more than just, this happening, and what's the difference between like zone blocking, man blocking, and and I'm still trying to learn, and being on with you guys, I'm definitely the better off for it. But it's like Madden was the genesis of it.
Yeah, and Madden taught you just not what they were doing, but like you said, why are they doing it? What's the significance of it? What's the mindset from a coach to pull that out? Hater, appreciate you watching. He's 30 minutes behind. Justin,
we're off the air now.
275. Clemens is 6'5", 297. Yeah, that's why I think it's a good analogy. You're going to see Clemens bull rush. Maybe go in on rundown. And have Clemens and Lawson on the outside in rundowns, or Clemens and JJ, or Lawson and JJ.
Right.
And then you still got guys like JFM. On rundowns though, you're going to put Clemens more likely as an edge on a rundown, and maybe as a tackle on a passing down.
Yep.
JFM, Clemens, Quinnen, guys who are capable of maybe playing outside, but can also be powerful enough to play inside. So we've said it with Joe Douglas, and even now more so with Salah. Positional flexibility, right, is key. Like the more positions you can play, and now you're looking at the youth at linebackers, maybe with Sherwood and Nasruddin getting those reps. If we don't sign Quan, guys are going to have to learn multiple positions because you're going to have to back up Mosley, who very rarely comes off the field. That's why I think we'll miss Quan. If God forbid something happens to Mosley, that's where you're going to see not having Quan could be the biggest mishap for this team.
And that's where Sherwood comes in. I think Sherwood is the linebacker who comes right in. I really hope he gets a chance to play this year. I feel like this is a now or never year, because you can only have so many years where you're saying, I want to see him get a chance. I want to see him get a chance. I feel like this is the second year, maybe even the third year. We've said this with Sherwood. Yeah. So, I really hope this is his chance. Nasruddin, I think he was a project, but I think he's going to find himself being mostly a special teams player. And that's okay. For like a 5th, 6th round pick, that's okay. If you hit on other picks that late, like we did with, say, a Michael Carter, that's fine. Because before with these mid-late round picks, you know what the ceiling was for years past? The player the caliber of a Jordan Jenkins. An okay
Lorenzo Malden. I always put Jenkins and Lorenzo Malden together.
At least Jenkins hung around a couple years. I mean, Jenkins would get some sacks. I can't remember one good play Malden made. It was like we wanted him to do well, but it was like our hearts were overruling our heads. I felt too much with him. Great kid, no doubt about it. It just didn't work for him, and we wish it did. But Jenkins hung around a couple years. But at one point, he was the Jets' best pass rusher. That's sad. It's like being the
6.5.
6.5, 7.5. Yeah. I mean, it's like that's like being the prettiest one on The View. It don't mean much.
Nice.
So, thank you.
I'm pulling up Jordan Jenkins stats right now.
Well, somebody has to somewhere.
7 sacks in 2018.
Yeah. And a lot of them were what they call coverage sacks. It's not like they were just like
bullshit. We weren't covering anybody in 2018. We had Pierre Desir. We weren't covering anybody.
Any chance Nick can mention Pierre Desir from now on, he's gonna do it.
That's my gut. I like him.
That's your guy.
I don't talk about Revis. I don't talk about Aaron Glenn. Pierre Desir.
Darrell Revis, Aaron Glenn, Pierre Desir, Sauce Gardner, Pierre Desir.
You got any trivia? You got anything?
I can give you. I always got some trivia if you want it. Yeah, I can always find something.
Yeah, if you don't mind, dig something up.
Heck yeah, man! I'll try to find one that's not too crazy because we got a little bit of a smaller turnout. Yeah, just
summertime. It's not football season,
right?
And I always say, now that I celebrate Friday nights. I said before you got on, today's 13 weeks. Yesterday was 90 days. Sunday is going to be 3 months. Right. Getting on a Friday night, talking sports with a friend. I would do this with you and the other knucklehead.
I can't remember
watching.
Well, both of them, but all right. Let's. Okay, here's Okay, here's one.
No Googling, chat. No Googling. We get through this as a team.
Yeah, this one I know you're going to get. It's just a matter of how long it'll take. Oh, anyway. Who is the only Jets kick returner to score 3 touchdowns in a single season?
Brad Smith.
No. Wasn't Brad.
Leon?
It was Leon, 2007. Okay. He scored 3 times. Yep.
When you look at our special teams, and I know your buddy Westhoff, we literally went from Chad Morton to Justin Miller to Leon Washington to Brad Smith. Like, we had 4 straight Pro Bowl. All 4, I believe, made the Pro Bowl.
Snowball, who was the cornerback? Nicholson. I thought I'm looking at your comment. I was wondering if you were referring to Parry Nickerson when you said Nicholson.
Who was that cornerback?
Yeah, cornerback. Yeah, I'm not sure which one you meant, but yeah,
Hardy
we had
Nickerson.
So many
Hardy Nickerson. He was a speedster.
Hardy Nickerson. Was he a Jet? I don't remember that one.
What was he was? He went to Seattle after we cut him. He was like frail and could run.
Well, I mean, I remember we let Jason Myers go to Seattle, but he was a kicker.
He was a kicker, though.
I think you mean Parry Nickerson because I think he went to Seattle, but I don't know. All right, well, let's go on. Let me give you another one.
Wait, let me get off Google. Let me look up this guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be accused of being on Google.
All right.
Parry Nickerson, Minnesota.
I want to find one that's reasonable. Okay.
Experience 4 years. Did he even make the Jets at all? Yeah, 2018. He was on the Jet.
2018. Okay.
Yeah.
There's certain years that we would like to forget if at all possible.
Good job, Snowball.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for the next one?
Shoot.
Okay. Actually, I got a couple here that'd be pretty good. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to give you one that's too difficult. I want to save those. That's because just too many answers. Okay, here's one. Name the 4 Pro Bowlers from the Philadelphia Eagles who also played for the Jets at some point in their career.
Pro Bowlers ever?
The 4 players who made the Pro Bowl as Eagles who also played for the Jets at some point in their career.
Okay, so not just Pro Bowlers this year for the Eagles, Pro Bowlers ever.
Ever. Yeah, ever.
All right. Hugh Douglas is number 1.
Hugh Douglas, he made 3. Yep, that's right.
I'm trying to think.
Jumping on the chat here. Oh my gosh. And this one's going to be. Come on, chat. All 4 of you. Let's go.
We got Hugh Douglas. We got. It made a Pro Bowl as an Eagle and then played for the Jets at some point.
Yes. It's like, is it going to be Snowball or Tom who's going to get it first here? Hopefully Rusty's still around and get Mo. And Allie eventually is going to catch up.
Oh, Keith Byers.
Let me double check. I didn't see him. I'll double check Keith Byers. That's an interesting one, though.
I think he made it as like a fullback before in the late 80s or 90s. Is it 5? Did I just?
You might have. You might have. Let's double check that. Let's double. I'm finding Keith Byers' son is what I'm finding here. Okay, there you go.
Keith Byers Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Jets messed up. Lee Crevette.
You know what? He did make it in 1993. Okay, so he made it once. Okay, so all right, I'll give you an. So it's 5. Okay, so there's still 3.
Snowball says Cox. I don't think Brian Cox made it as a Pro Bowler as an Eagle. I know he made it as a Dolphin.
No, Brian Cox is not correct. I barely remember Cox as an Eagle. I always enjoyed watching Cox, but I don't remember him.
Yeah, you did. It's porn. You know it when you see it.
That's why you need that neck pad.
Yeah, that's what your head. It's like a bounce off. Never mind. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's throw out some positional hints. Give us the positions.
Okay, let's double check the chat here. Yep, Cox was quite the fighter. Snowball, definitely agree. Let's see. One is one offense, two on defense. And both are somewhat recent. Like I would say the last 20 years. Definitely the 15, 20 years.
James Thrash never made a Pro Bowl.
Was James Thrash ever a Jet?
Was he a Jet?
I don't remember as a Jet at all. One was. I'll give you one was a quarterback.
Oh, Vic.
Michael Vick. Yep, Michael Vick's another one. And now you got two on defense. These will be a little bit tougher. One I think is gettable. One is going to be pretty challenging.
Give me positions. Anyone else in the chat?
Defensive line and cornerback. I'll check the chat here. Come on, chat.
Philadelphia cornerback who played for the Jets. Now, here's where my mindset is kind of mixing me up.
Okay.
I'm thinking of guys who made the Pro Bowl as an Eagle, then came to the Jets, where I might have to flip it around the other way, like they played as Jets and then went to Philly.
As best I remember, both of these guys were Eagles first, then they became Jets. They became Jets towards the end.
Lito Shepard.
Lito Shepard. That is correct.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Yep. Lito was the opposite corner across from Revis before we brought in Antonio Cromartie. So, yep.
Chris Jenkins was just Carolina. He was never in Philly.
If you get this one, I'm going to be really impressed. This one's tough.
What decade?
I want to say – I'll look it up. I want to say 90s. I want to say 90s, maybe like early 2000s, but I'll double check for you.
Anyone got a clue? Anyone?
You know what? It's even more recent than that. Yeah. It was actually I thought it was 90s. No, this would have been about 10 years ago. Not that long ago.
Interior or edge?
It's kind of hard.
Snowball says McClendon?
Steve McClendon? No. I think he means Steve McClendon. No. So I would say defensive end. More so defensive end.
A pass rusher.
But he could be outside linebacker if you needed him to be. And he played for how many? I've got to count this. He played for 9 teams.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll give up. Anyone else? Either one of you guys want to throw in a guess last second?
Went to college at Western Michigan. Made 2 Pro Bowls. I think one was with Tennessee and one was with the Eagles. And he was a Jet in 2014.
Oh, the down years.
Yeah, that's a lot of years, dude.
I don't know.
All right. Let me give it up. It was Jason Babin.
Oh, wow.
Talk about guys it's hard to remember they were Jets. But
guys who fell off.
Yeah, he was a good player for Philly, but he had the 1 year with the Jets in 2014, and on he went, onward and I guess upward. Yeah, he played for just to break down his career, he played from Houston from 04 to 06, Seattle 07, 08, Kansas City in 08, Philly in 09, Tennessee in 10, Philadelphia in 11 and 12, Jacksonville in 12 and 13, Jets in 14, Baltimore and Arizona in 15. I guess he has a tendency to wear out his welcome.
Or he's the king of the short deal, guaranteed money.
I mean, he's like the Ryan Fitzpatrick of defensive linemen. So, but hey, he made second team All Pro 1 year. I mean, when he was good, he was really good. But, they wouldn't commit to him. He just kept moving on and on and on.
Nice.
So there you go.
Let me see something real quick. Overlay. Trying to look for something. Since I understand, no gas, no brakes. I don't know what this says. I want to play it.
Say hi to your girlfriend for me.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's New York Giants. Sorry, I'm just looking for something. I'm looking for one of the songs. Eat a snack and eat on. How high? You got on your mind anything? I'm about to wrap it up here.
No, I mean, I guess the big thing. I'll just mention one or two things real quick for myself. I'm going to be recording a video uh, either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. My current 53 man roster projection for the Jets following
Okay.
OTAs. I do have one or two, I think, surprises. So I didn't really go chalk with this. So I got some pretty adventurous predictions on this. I will be doing a hockey video as well, and I'm too depressed to talk about baseball right now. But I will be in Philadelphia 2 weekends from now, and I plan to eat my way through that city. No doubt about it. For all I've been through over the last month, and you know what's going on, I will be, this trip was planned, and I plan to have one hell of a time over those 3 days or so. It's going to be good.
There you go.
And I'll
Cool.
probably even record it, like I did when I went up and hung with you, with Jeremy and the gang. Yeah, I think I might do some recording of this as well, and show some of the food stops. So yeah, so put
Nice.
that in my sports Wicker media. Vinny Curry. I don't think Vinny Curry made a Pro Bowl. I didn't see it. When I went to Pro Football Reference, I didn't see his name, but I'll check Vinny Curry for you. It's a fair question. One of these days, I got a good Vinny Curry trivia question. Vinny Curry has never made a Pro Bowl. Never made it. No. So, he may not at this point. But yep, that was a good thought. Just Curry never quite made it.
Nice. I'm gonna play something. Screw it. All right, yeah. Plug your channel. I'm gonna head out. I gotta get my leg up.
Right.
My body hurts. I gotta get.
Sounds good. Yeah, so check me out, NY Sports Wicker Media. Like I said, I'll be doing a Jets 53 man roster projection. That'll be up by tomorrow morning. I got a hockey video I'll be doing as well, relating to the trade the New Jersey Devils made today with the Columbus Blue Jackets. I will not be screaming in that video. I'll be a little bit more rational, which is not always the case with my hockey videos, much to Nick's disappointment. But
so good. So good.
I had a moment, but like always, we want to thank everybody who takes the time to watch these videos. Like with all the things you can do with your time, if you watch us, man, means everything to us. Really does. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start popping out some shorts. I think it's time.
You're gonna be doing what now?
Popping out some shorts, some short videos.
Is that what they call it now?
I don't know. Shorts. That's what they call them.
Popping out some shorts. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, that sounded so odd. All right.
Hey, Jake.
Am I the only one who thought that sounded okay? I guess I was the only one.
Oh, you know what? We didn't even get to this. Jake, thank you.
Okay.
I've just been listening to what people say. Curious on an opinion. We really need Dalvin Cook. I know he'd be an upgrade to depth if we were going to bring in a pricey vet, Hopkins, wide receiver thinner.
Is it really? I mean, I feel pretty comfortable with our depth of both positions, and I really like Dalvin Cook. I've always been a fan of Dalvin Cook, but he is prone to fumbling the football. He's shown some signs of getting hurt a little bit more lately. And is he willing to come to the Jets and be most likely the number 2 banana behind Breece Hall once Breece is ready to go? I feel okay running it for right now with Carter, Izzy, Bam. I mean, I'm willing to go forward with that, while Breece is maybe on a pitch count to start off. I think the money that we would have to give to Dalvin, I think it's more important to give the money to Quinnen or do something like that, or even save it and use it towards next year and signing our draft class. So while I'd like it, I don't know if it's what makes sense for the Jets. It's my thought.
It's valid. Yeah. I'll take the other side of it just for discussion purpose. I pretty much align with you with it. I don't want to pay him $10 million to be a backup, or
right.
If Breece Hall comes out and has one of those Adrian Peterson recoveries he's running 22 miles an hour already. And it's still his fastest time on the field was a Denver touchdown at 21.87. So he's running faster than he did there. Now it's just a matter of cutting and strengthening those agility muscles.
He's already cutting. Yeah, he's doing that already. We've seen it on the field. So.
When I look at it, I'll take this side of it. If he doesn't come back well, our running back group went to shit last year when he went out. You don't want to waste a year if Breece is unable to get back to himself. We are a win now team. We have to take precautionary measures. If we can get Dalvin Cook to come here for 1 year, $6 million, fully guaranteed, do it in a heartbeat.
Cool.
Because now you're coming in to be the best. Michael Carter may have to go if you bring in Cook.
Somebody's going to have to.
Just the numbers.
We're not keeping 5 running backs.
No, you got the kid, Izzy, who's 20. You're not letting him go. He hasn't touched the NFL field yet. Bam Knight does something Carter can't do, being more physical.
Catching the ball out of the back. I mean, they can both catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit.
Carter's nice.
Yeah.
But I just think that with the scouting that we're doing
Carter's
and
so special. I feel like Carter's like Bilal Powell. He's like an okay all-around at everything.
And I love the person.
Special.
I love the person. He's the great team guy. Like, he's a good leader. He's the great locker room guy.
Yeah.
But
it's frustrating. I want him to be good.
Dalvin Cook really makes us better. Like, if Hall can't go, I don't want Carter getting 18 touches a game. I'm okay with Dalvin Cook getting 18 touches. If Hall for some reason is on the pup for the first 6 weeks, and our schedule the first 6 weeks, fucking give me Dalvin Cook. I'd rather play with him than against him.
I still say though, if we look at the biggest reasons for the running game going to crap last year, it was ABT going down, Zach Wilson coming back in playing like crap, and every team starting with New England in the second half of that season putting 8 to 9 guys in the box. These running backs had no chance. You had Dwayne Brown playing with no rotator cuff in his shoulder. For God's sakes, our starting tackles at one point were Cedric Ogbuehi and Mike Remmers. We didn't have a line. If you throw in Rodgers now as the quarterback where they have to respect the passing game, that opens it up for the running backs as well. Plus, I think Jeremy Ruckert's going to get a lot more time on the field this year, and he is an animal at run blocking. Yeah. So I think that the run game is a much better position to succeed now than it was last year. And so that's why I don't feel like we need Dalvin Cook for the running game to work well. As I like him, I don't think we need him. That's the difference. It's an interesting.
I don't want Hopkins because Hopkins wants the bag.
Yeah.
I don't want Hopkins with the amount of money that we have there already. I get what you're saying, Jake. Excuse me. I get what you're saying about it. But I don't want to pay Hopkins that money with that much wear and tear. Hopkins wants to come in on a 1 year, $8 million, 1 year, $10 million even. Okay. I'm not paying him 3 years, 60-something million or more, which is what he's rumored to be after. That's why he's going to the Titans and the Patriots. He's going to the teams that are desperate at wide receiver and are going to have to overpay him to make that room even adequate.
If those teams are going to pay him that money, God bless them.
That's his first 2 trips. So his agent had to say, this is what we're looking for. Who wants to see him? And these are the teams that are saying, okay, bring him in.
I mean, is there any NFC team that could use a wide receiver? I mean, I don't know. I feel like even a team like Washington would make sense. They have McLaurin, but I mean, how much else, for instance? I mean, I feel like a team like that makes sense. Yeah, just saying 15 for 10 over Cook. I don't know if I want to pay him $15 million, man. 10's pushing it for me. I don't know.
Somebody broke down. Like, he can't get separate anymore.
No,
the only time he got separation and open was against zones where he found it being savvy. Like, he couldn't break down and get open in man coverage a lot.
I got more confidence in Dalvin Cook having a good year than I do in DeAndre Hopkins having a good year. That's pretty much where I am. I feel like Hopkins is starting to wear down a little bit.
Now, if you want to dump Corey Davis,
what?
You want to dump Corey Davis and give that money to Hopkins? I'm okay with that. You want to give $13 million to Hopkins over Corey Davis? Sign me up.
If we cut
100%.
Corey,
it's
I guess
like $337,000 dead cap hit. I think maybe $660. I forget him and Lawson had different numbers.
I gotta check that.
Let me know. But I would, if you cut Corey Davis and add Hopkins, 100% I'm in. 100%. But I'm not giving him a 3-year deal.
No,
I'll give him 1 year, $13 million.
1 year and that is absolutely it. Okay, here it comes. Okay. Cut pre-June. Okay, so Corey's cap is $11 million. Oh yeah. Now it's post. Yep. So I got to adjust that. Okay, so it's 666,000. So you're saving 10.5 million on the cap hit. So hey, if Hopkins would come
which
1
puts
year,
us to 34 million available. So
well,
you can give him that 1 year 13, and then you can put some incentives in there too for him. AFC East, AFC champion, Super Bowl. You can give him bonuses that can push that up to 17, 18, like the Beckham deal, right?
yeah. I mean, if I would say this, as big a Davis defender as I've been, if you are going to cut Corey Davis and give DeAndre Hopkins the money that you save by cutting Corey Davis, how could I not go for that?
I'm in.
Because Hopkins
That's the
doesn't
only
have
way
to
I'm
be
in
our
on
number
Hopkins.
one. He doesn't have to be the number one. We don't need him to be what the Ravens need Beckham to be, for instance. You know? So to me, that's so important. You know, because Garrett is our number one undisputably.
Oh,
And I
shit.
and I still think Lazard works very well as a starting receiver. He's got that connection already with Rodgers, and then throw in, McCole Hardman. Cobb's already got the connection. I mean, that works. And I still think Ty Conklin has the potential to have a really big year. I really do. Because
Agreed.
Rodgers loves his tight ends, loves those tight ends. So I think Conklin, it could be like one of those good sneak sleeper picks in fantasy this year. I really do.
Agreed. I like that. Let me catch up with this. I don't want either. What's a big name? I like what we have. Okay.
Truth.
I respect that. Corey is like, yeah, he was.
Yeah, we just looked it up. Yeah,
him long term. Agreed. All right. I'm gonna try to catch the end of the Yankee game here. It's bottom of the ninth, and then I'm gonna pop the NBA Finals on too. Jokic went to the locker room with a sprained ankle in the first, but it appears that he's back in the game.
Okay.
But thank you for joining me, man. It was nice to get back on.
That was fun. That was a good time. So just another day in paradise. Waiting. Now we got to wait 40 days for training camp to begin. What are we all going to do for those 6 weeks? Oh my gosh, just more speculation, more wondering, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So
yeah. There should be a little Samini tweeted today, a little recap of Jets West. Rodgers is going to have them out together in California at some point.
Okay.
I'm sure we should get some good one jet drive content. Oh, one last thing.
Yeah.
Salah saying pretty much we don't want Hard Knocks in the building, huh? Like
yes, he did say that.
Somebody spoke up and he said it, and I'm with it. I don't like the Hard Knocks watching guys get cut. Like I feel like it's too negative and like too CNN-y for me. Like it focuses on the heartache sometimes of it. And I feel that One Jets Drive is a more positive production. And even though there are something, I feel I haven't watched Hard Knocks since the Jets were on with Rex. I'm not a fan of the angles that they take and the production that they want to push. So Snowball, we're going to get into that. Adam's going to pop his video. But before training camp opens, I'll be hopping on more consistently. And we'll have a show one night. We'll get the whole crew on.
I'll have a video up. I don't know if I'm going to record it now, but I'll definitely have it up. The video that'll be up by tomorrow morning for sure. I would say by 8 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, you'll see it at NY Sports Wicker Media. I'll have the video uploaded for y'all for sure.
All right. So on that note, thank you everyone. I appreciate Adam for stopping in. I'm not even going to
never forget this pose, right?
That was good. I sent you the picture, right? It's my
Nick, do you think you're the only one who sent me the still at this point?
Oh no, but am I the only one that edited as their phone photo?
Wow, what ideas did you reject?
I did it. That's my.
You really did that?
Yeah, I did it.
Wow. My mom wouldn't even do that. Yeah, for those who weren't there last night, on Green Bean Show,
That's your face.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, okay, that's my face. Yeah, so my computer is very old, and sometimes it just randomly goes out, and it froze me for about 10 seconds, and I was caught in sort of a weird victory pose like this sort of a thing, and now people are kind of running with it. I think there's going to be there should be a caption contest. Is probably what we should do. What somebody should do with that. But yeah, it was all good. It's all fun, and hey, anything for a laugh, I guess. It's all good. It was cool.
Absolutely. Oh, let me catch up with the comments, and then we'll check out of here.
All
Hey,
right.
Simon, welcome back. Snowball later. Thank everyone for joining. Thank everyone for chiming in. Like the video. If you've got friends who like the Jets, share it to them.
And by the way, Bill Barnwell is an idiot from ESPN.
Yeah. It's not even worth talking about.
Oh my
That's
God.
all he wants. He knows to go against Jets Twitters, get your name out there big time.
He's made like Samiti like a fan favorite by comparison. It's unbelievable. Like it's like, man, we love our beat, but when like these national guys, when the national guys are coming after us, then it's just pure disrespect. It's just crazy.
To get their name out there. He's been talked about more now. I didn't even know his damn name. Like you could have asked me name a football guy at ESPN, and I would.
It's only because I got the ESPN Plus thing, which I got for the hockey subscription, and so with these articles, it's like just Einstein's like him and Seth Walder and these guys, and it's like, oh boy! Ever since guys like Matthew Berry left, it's just painful. I know Barry was fantasy, but it's like, man, they have downgraded. They have really downgraded. Hey, I guess they had to lower that so they could afford Pat McAfee. I guess that was their reasoning.
Yeah, right.
Unbelievable. All right,
everybody. Thank you.
Good to see everybody.
Enjoy the weekend. Be safe, and as always, be loud, be proud, New York Jets fans. Go Jets.
Rodgers is a fucking Jet. Let's go.
Biggie. This goes out to you. This goes out to you and you and you. Biggie. You. This goes out to you. This goes
Let's
out
make
to
sure
you.
we play like the New York
This
Jets.
goes out to you and you. The door within the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door.
We play to win the game.
All you heard was Papa,
Hello?
don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. On your mark, get set. When I spark, you wet. Look how dark it get when you mark for death. Should I start?